Hi, I'm Jordan the Nerd of Gold, and today is day 6 out of 52 as I try and answer at least 52 questions about DC Comics as I count down to my birthday. Link in the comments if you want to help me surprise my wife for my birthday. So, I'm going to answer this question. It's one of the comments from my YouTube where I repost these videos on there, and they asked me about the Absolute Universe and the Ultimate line, and like basically these little micro lines that are popping up at different publishers that are really focusing on a core set of characters in a limited number of titles. And I will say, I generally speaking think this is a good thing. I really wish DC and Marvel in particular, because they have such a wide range of content, would really focus in on this and not just do it for their core characters, but basically create mini imprints for multiple characters and create like different Earths for them basically. I think this is a good thing because it limits the number of titles any person who's coming into reading comics needs to read, whether you're an experienced reader or a new reader who's just interested in comics and have heard good things and just want a fresh place to start. I think the new Ultimate line, the new Absolute line, those are great places to start. I think it also, for any manga reader who's like, I want to try to get into comic books, but I think the getting into comics is hard, is what I've heard, because American comics have so many #1 starting places. One, you can just throw them the Absolute or the Ultimate line, and that kind of solves the problem there. But two, I also think that argument is extremely overblown. There's so many stories of like professional creators and fans alike who are like, I just picked up this cover because it looked cool, and man, it was great, and I was hooked on reading comics from then on. That's true for me too. I didn't like go and read everyone's backstory before I started reading a particular issue. I was given a couple of issues and I was just looking at it. I was like, oh, this is cool. I just want to read more of it. And 100% that will happen if you primarily read manga and you want to get into an American comic. Just pick up something that looks cool. And I promise, if you're confused, there's a Wikipedia page about it. Or you can just go pick up the comic that people are referencing and read it. And because it's most likely great. So yeah, I do think overall that the Absolute and Ultimate lines are good ideas because they do keep it really focused for readers who want to focus on the characters that they love, and they're just looking for something fresh and new for this new world. And I really like the idea that both of them are fundamentally about the world having been fundamentally wrong at the start, and the heroes are fighting against a incorrect status quo that makes them rebels and revolutionaries in a sense, and I really think that really fits the superhero vibe very well. So yes, I do think these lines are good for that, and I do think they represent two different things. Darkseid is kind of old money that even traces back to feudalistic warlords, whereas the Maker is kind of this tech bro who's changed the world and stolen the future from us. So I do think there's that kind of different dynamics going on in those worlds, but they're fundamentally the same thing in that sense that the heroes, to be a hero means you have to be a revolutionary against the status quo, and I really enjoy that. So I think that's a very good thing for the superhero genre. And like I said, overall these lines, keeping them small, is a very good thing because it keeps the focus narrow and it keeps everything together without it like spinning off into a bunch of different things that you don't necessarily want to read but have to read in order to understand this kind of thing. Everything is like issue by issue. You can just read this, and I think that's a really good focus. So yeah, I hope that answers the question, and have a wonderful day.